India stands as a testament to the long and intricate story of humanity. From the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas to the tropical shores of the south, the Indian subcontinent has nurtured civilizations for millennia. These lands have witnessed empires rise and fall, religions take root and spread, and ideas blossom and transform the world. Our journey through Indian history begins in the mists of time, where archaeology and myth intertwine. The Indian subcontinent, geographically diverse and culturally rich, served as the cradle for one of the world's earliest civilizations. The fertile plains of the Indus River Valley gave birth to a sophisticated urban culture that flourished in the 3rd millennium BCE. This civilization, contemporaneous with Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, developed unique traditions in art, architecture, and urban planning that continue to intrigue us today. While the Indus script remains undeciphered, archaeological evidence points to a well-organized society with advanced urban planning, standardized weights and measures, and impressive craftsmanship. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, with their grid-like layouts, sophisticated drainage systems, and grand public baths, stand as enduring testaments to the ingenuity of these early Indians. The decline of the Indus Valley civilization around 1900 BCE remains a subject of debate among scholars. Climate change, ecological shifts, and perhaps even migrations have been proposed as possible causes. However, their legacy lived on, influencing later cultures and laying the foundation for the next chapter in India's epic story. As the Indus cities faded, a new chapter unfolded in Indian history with the arrival of Indo-Aryan tribes from Central Asia. These pastoral people brought with them their language, Sanskrit, which would become the cornerstone of Hinduism and profoundly influence Indian literature, philosophy, and religion for centuries to come. The period following the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, roughly from 1500 to 500 BCE, is known as the Vedic period. The Vedas, a collection of hymns, prayers, and rituals, are the most important source of information about this era. These sacred texts reflect the beliefs and practices of the early Indo-Aryans, their reverence for nature, and their evolving social structure. The Vedas also provide glimpses into the early development of Hinduism, with its pantheon of gods and goddesses, its emphasis on dharma, or righteous duty, and its cyclical view of time. The Vedic period witnessed the transition from a largely nomadic pastoral society to a more settled agricultural one. As the Indo-Aryans spread across the Gangetic Plains, they established kingdoms and developed new agricultural techniques. The concept of Varna, a social hierarchy based on occupation, emerged during this period, laying the groundwork for the later caste system. The Vedic period was not monolithic. Over time, different schools of thought emerged, questioning the authority of the Vedas and exploring new philosophical and spiritual paths. These dissenting voices paved the way for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism in the 6th century BCE, challenging the established social order and transforming the religious landscape of India. The 6th century BCE marked a watershed moment in Indian history with the birth of two of the world's great religions, Jainism and Buddhism. Mahavira, the founder of Jainism, preached a doctrine of non-violence, or ahimsa, and asceticism, emphasizing the sanctity of all living beings. His teachings resonated with many, leading to the establishment of a vibrant Jain community that continues to thrive in India today. A few decades later, Siddhartha Gautama, a prince from the Shakya clan, achieved enlightenment and became the Buddha, the awakened one. He rejected the caste system and preached a path to liberation from suffering through the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Buddhism, with its message of compassion and universal love, quickly gained popularity across India and beyond, spreading along trade routes to Central Asia, China, and Southeast Asia. The rise of these new religions coincided with a period of political fragmentation in India. The Gangetic Plains were dotted with small kingdoms, often vying for power and control. It was in this context that a powerful ruler named Chandragupta Maurya emerged in the late 4th century BCE. Chandragupta, with the guidance of his astute advisor Chanakya, established the Mauryan Empire, the first pan-Indian empire. Chandragupta's grandson, Ashoka, is perhaps the most renowned Mauryan ruler. After a bloody conquest of Kalinga, Ashoka renounced violence and embraced Buddhism. He became a fervent patron of the faith, propagating its teachings through edicts inscribed on pillars and rocks across his vast empire. Ashoka's reign marked a golden age of peace, prosperity, and cultural exchange. Following the decline of the Mauryan Empire, India entered a period of regional kingdoms and foreign invasions. The northwest frontier witnessed the arrival of the Indo-Greeks, followed by the Shakas and the Kushans, who established their own kingdoms and left a lasting mark on Indian art, architecture, and coinage. This period of interaction and synthesis witnessed the fusion of Greek and Indian artistic traditions, giving birth to the Gandhara school of art, known for its distinctive depictions of the Buddha. In the 4th century CE, a new power arose in the Gangetic Plains, the Gupta Empire. Under the rule of Chandragupta I and his successors, the Gupta Empire ushered in another golden age in Indian history. The Guptas were patrons of the arts and sciences, and their reign witnessed a flourishing of literature, astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. The Sanskrit language reached its zenith during this period, with the works of poets like Kalidasa and playwrights like Sudraka achieving timeless acclaim. The Gupta period is often referred to as the Golden Age of India due to its advancements in various fields. The decimal system, the concept of zero, and advancements in astronomy and metallurgy were some of the remarkable achievements of this era. The Iron Pillar of Delhi, a testament to the metallurgical skills of the Guptas, stands tall even today, defying centuries of rust and decay. However, the Gupta Empire, like its predecessors, eventually succumbed to internal strife and external pressures. The invasion of the Hunas, a nomadic group from Central Asia in the late 5th century CE, weakened the empire, leading to its fragmentation and eventual collapse. The fall of the Guptas marked the end of a glorious chapter in Indian history, but it also paved the way for new regional powers and cultural transformations in the centuries to come. Section 5. Arrivals from afar: Alexander and the Mughals. The decline of the Guptas ushered in a period of regional kingdoms and renewed foreign incursions. The northwestern frontier, a traditional gateway for invaders, witnessed the arrival of new groups, including the Hephthalites, also known as the White Huns. These nomadic warriors posed a significant challenge to the existing powers, further fragmenting the political landscape of northern India. In the midst of this turmoil, a new force emerged from Central Asia, the Turks. Under their dynamic leader, Mahmud of Ghazni, the Turks launched a series of raids into India in the 11th century CE, targeting wealthy temples and cities. These raids, though devastating, also had the unintended consequence of introducing new cultural and artistic influences, particularly in the realm of architecture. The establishment of the Delhi Sultanate in the 13th century marked the beginning of a new era in Indian history, the age of Islamic rule. The Delhi Sultanate, ruled by a succession of Turkish and Afghan dynasties, brought with them new systems of administration, taxation, and military organization. This period witnessed the construction of magnificent mosques, tombs, and palaces, showcasing the architectural grandeur of Islamic civilization. The Mughal Empire, founded by Babur in the 16th century, stands as one of the most significant empires in Indian history. The Mughals, descendants of Timur and Genghis Khan, were known for their military prowess, administrative acumen, and patronage of the arts. Under the rule of Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire reached its zenith, encompassing most of the Indian subcontinent. Section 6. Under the Union Jack, the British Raj. The decline of the Mughal Empire in the 18th century created a power vacuum in India, which was gradually filled by a new player, the British East India Company. Initially arriving as traders in the early 17th century, the company capitalized on the political fragmentation and internal conflicts to expand its influence. Through a combination of diplomacy, intrigue, and military might, the East India Company gradually gained control of vast swathes of territory, transforming itself from a trading corporation into a quasi-sovereign power. The Battle of Plassey in 1757, where the East India Company's forces decisively defeated the Nawab of Bengal, proved to be a turning point in Indian history. This victory marked the beginning of British dominance in India, paving the way for the establishment of the British Raj. The East India Company's rule was characterized by economic exploitation, administrative reforms, and the introduction of Western education and ideas. The Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, triggered by the controversial Enfield rifle cartridges greased with animal fat, shook the foundations of British rule. This uprising, though brutally suppressed, forced the British Crown to assume direct control of India, ending the East India Company's reign. The mutiny also marked the beginning of a nascent nationalist consciousness among Indians, who began to question the legitimacy of foreign rule. The latter half of the 19th century witnessed the emergence of Indian nationalism as an organized political force. Educated Indians, exposed to Western ideas of liberty, equality, and self-determination, began to demand greater autonomy and eventually complete independence from British rule. The Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, became the main platform for articulating these demands. Section 7, The Mahatma's March. India finds its freedom. The early decades of the 20th century witnessed a surge in nationalist sentiment in India. The First World War, with its immense human and economic cost, further fueled the desire for self-determination. The return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa in 1915 injected new life into the Indian independence movement. Gandhi, with his philosophy of satyagraha based on non-violent resistance, mobilized millions of Indians in a mass movement against British rule. Gandhi's leadership proved to be transformative. His call for boycotts of British goods, his non-cooperation movement, and his iconic Salt March in 1930 captured the imagination of the Indian masses, uniting them in their struggle against colonial rule. The British government responded with repression, imprisonment, and attempts to divide the nationalist movement along religious lines. The Second World War proved to be a turning point. India's participation in the war effort, despite the opposition of the Congress leadership, further strengthened the demand for independence. The war's end, coupled with the rise of the Labour Party in Britain, created a favourable climate for negotiations. After prolonged discussions and debates, India finally achieved its independence on August 15, 1947, marking the end of the British Empire and ushering in a new era for the Indian subcontinent. However, independence came at a tragic cost. The partition of India along religious lines, resulting in the creation of Pakistan, led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history, accompanied by widespread violence and bloodshed. Millions of Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs were displaced, and the communal riots left deep scars on the newly independent nations. Section 8, Tryst with Destiny, the Republic of India. Independent India faced daunting challenges: poverty, illiteracy, social inequality, and the legacy of colonial rule. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister, embarked on an ambitious program of nation-building, focusing on industrialization, social reforms, and the establishment of democratic institutions. Nehru's vision of a modern, secular, and socialist India laid the groundwork for the country's future development. India adopted a parliamentary democracy based on universal adult franchise, guaranteeing equal rights to all its citizens regardless of caste, creed, or gender. The Constitution of India, adopted in 1950, enshrined these principles, establishing India as a secular republic committed to social justice and equality for all. The early decades of independence witnessed significant progress in various fields. The Green Revolution, initiated in the 1960s, transformed India from a food-deficient nation into a net exporter of agricultural produce. Industrialization, though initially slow, gained momentum in the 1980s with economic liberalization policies. India's scientific and technological prowess was evident in its space program, nuclear energy program, and advancements in information technology. However, India's journey was not without its share of challenges. Border disputes with Pakistan, internal insurgencies, communal tensions, and corruption continued to pose serious threats to the nation's stability and progress. The assassination of Indira Gandhi in 1984 and Rajiv Gandhi in 1991 were stark reminders of the fragility of democracy and the challenges of maintaining unity in a diverse and complex society. Section 9, India today, a rising power. As India enters the 21st century, it stands at a crossroads. With a rapidly growing economy, a young and vibrant population, and a thriving democracy, India is poised to become a major player on the global stage. Its economic reforms, coupled with its demographic dividend, have made it one of the fastest-growing major economies in the world. India's soft power, rooted in its ancient civilization, its philosophical traditions, and its contributions to art, literature, and music, continues to grow. Yoga, Bollywood, and Indian cuisine have become global phenomena, showcasing the country's cultural richness and its ability to captivate the world. However, India continues to grapple with challenges of poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, and social tensions. Bridging the gap between rich and poor, ensuring sustainable development, and promoting tolerance and harmony in a pluralistic society remain key priorities for India's leaders. India's journey since independence has been a testament to its resilience, its democratic spirit, and its ability to overcome adversity. As India celebrates its 75th year of independence, it looks to the future with hope and determination, seeking to fulfill its potential as a global leader and a beacon of peace, progress, and prosperity in the 21st century.